So I know my phone is crooked and I'm sitting in a loud parking lot, but we're gonna film anyway. First, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Isabelle and I help you understand yourself so you can feel more clarity and control over your life. And if you want to learn more about yourself and this video resonates with you, then I highly recommend that you hit the link below to book a reading, which is really more so a coaching call where we dive deep into the simplified version of your potential self and help you find your path. I felt inspired to talk today about the idea of not even so much purpose in the sense of changing the world, but purpose as in, why am I here? Because I have been interacting with a lot of people who share that they either feel this or they know people who feel this, especially in the younger population, but as a general sense of just this feeling of, why am I here? What am I here to do? And so if you feel like you feel a sense of purposelessness, if you feel like you don't know what you're doing with your life, if you feel like you don't really have any sort of strong calling, or even strong why behind what you do, then this video is for you, especially because I know that's a hard feeling to go through. You know, I've been feeling this recently, that not having a strong sense of what you're here to do, or even what you're aiming to achieve, whether that's attaining a relationship or success in your career, there's a feeling of lacking when you don't have that. Basically, why am I doing everything I do? Basically, it doesn't even have to be necessarily something big, but not having something you're shooting for can really make life feel more of less. You don't know why you're doing everything. And so I wanted to share some things that I've done to help me find my direction, and what I look back to when I feel moments of, why am I here? What am I doing this for? So if you feel this sense of you don't know your aim, watch this video, because I'm going to share some of the things that have helped me the most. So where to begin? There is a few things I want to talk about, one of which I want to save for the end. But honestly, I feel like I didn't even actually intend about talking about this in this video. But if you're feeling a sense of, why am I here? It makes me laugh, because my little sister tells me this all the time. And she says, did you try eating? So often our brain can be irrational, and it tells us stories. And to regulate those stories becomes much harder when we are not in a healthy place physically. So whether that's getting enough sleep, or eating the right things, or having social interaction, which is necessary for our physical health, it becomes a lot harder to regulate those stories. And then that brings me into my second point, which is the idea of stories that we tell ourselves. I think a lot of people feel a sense of purposelessness because they expect that they have to do something so grandiose, especially with, we get so much stimulus from seeing how many successful people there are in the world, all the motivational speeches, all the movies that tell us that we're supposed to do something grand. But that's not necessarily always the case. It's not necessarily about what we do that gives us a sense of purpose, but are we telling ourselves a story that we have to do something greater in order to be fulfilling a sense of purpose? That's the first point I really want to make, or I guess the second, since the health was the first, of, do you feel like are you living something meaningful that you would consider meaningful if it weren't for society telling you have to do something more? Because everyone seems to have an opinion on what gives us a sense of purpose. And with that said, you can listen to this video, and if it doesn't resonate for you, it doesn't. This is just my take on how I've found a sense of purpose. If that helps you, you do not have to agree with it. You can find purpose through something else. But do you feel like you're living up to your potential? And are you doing something that you feel makes an impact? If you're not, then that's a problem. And that's probably why, first and foremost, you're feeling a sense of purposelessness. But maybe it's just that you are taking in too much stimulus of what the world thinks you should be doing. So there's that. I noticed for me that is a very hard one, in the sense of, I really do aspire to make a huge impact on the world. Not in the sense of even talking on a stage, but potentially. And I'm surrounded by two very ambitious people, my mom and my sister. And because they're always shooting for the moon, I feel like me just shooting for the next hill is mundane. But my idea of success is going to be very much different than what their idea of success is, especially because we have different personalities. Success in the end is about being happy, and so different things will make us happy. And there's that too with the idea of like purpose, is that we're supposed to sacrifice. I don't think we can make an impact in the world if we're coming from a place of sacrifice and we're feeling negative about it. If we're feeling positive and joyous in the process of sacrificing, so to say, then yes. But we don't have to sacrifice and be in a negative state of being in order to make an impact. So I know that it's hard for me to be surrounded by people who are shooting so big, and that makes it harder for me to stay in my own lane of what I think it means to make a difference. But it also does inspire me to know what a higher goal can be always beyond once I achieve what I want to do. So notice if you have that going on in your life too. Are you surrounded by other people? Are you taking in stimulus that tells you to do something more? That basically then it forms this divide. If we can't see the steps it will take to achieve something, then we don't know how to do it. We're defeated. We feel like, well, I must have somehow gotten there by luck. I'll never be able to achieve that. It's like if we were extremely overweight, seeing someone who's shredded and no one shared their workout program, we'd be like, well, I don't know how to get there. So that's one point I want to make. But a more important one that I also want to talk about next is, I think a lot of people feel a sense of meaninglessness too, because they truly just have no idea what they want to do, what they're good at, or what a sense of purpose would even be. So it's even less about being able to attain something or thinking that your desires are enough, but knowing the desires in the first place. And I know that's one I've struggled with a lot in my life, and still every now and then it comes up, is this idea of I don't even know what direction I want to go. It's hard for me oftentimes to body compass what my desires are, especially because of my Enneagram type. There are 9 different types of key childhood wounds that we have that shape who we are. And if you're 9 like me, very likely you're going to feel that sense of I can morph to anyone else's desires, but I have no idea what my own desires are. And on top of it too, all of the Enneagram types, which I highly recommend you look into if you're feeling a sense of purposelessness, they're acting from a wound rather than a healed place. And so we're constantly going through our lives as a default, pursuing a sense of love. That is what the 9 types are based off of. So like I said, 9 types of programmings, 9 types of childhood wounds you could potentially have. And you have one that is dominant. For example, if you're a 9 like me, you believe I must be harmonious in order to be loved. And so we are easygoing people who don't rock the boat, or at least don't impose our desires. If you're a 4, which is very common in the world nowadays, it's I must be different, important, unique in order to be loved. And so these people always try to be accepting and welcoming of others, but also they feel this need to be different in some ways, and they never feel like they're going to be unique enough. People are never going to see them, basically. And so looking at your Enneagram can tell you what wound you're trying to fulfill in life. For me, I can look at being a 9 and go, I notice how often I feel the sense of, by default programming, not even necessarily truth, that I need to pursue love through connections, which is what 9s are extremely powerful in, but I think is a general programming for everyone. We're all trying to, by default, achieve love from some group or person just because it's what we're taught to do, that we don't even think about, well, is this true? Do I really feel like I'm not loved? And do I really feel like this is my highest goal? Imagine if that, so look into your Enneagram, figure out the wound, see how it shows up in your life. And are you still trying to pursue this desire? It is our core desire. The Enneagram does form our core desire. However, we also have a growth number, and that is where a sense of purpose can step in. So for me, I grow towards being a 3, which is simply the act of setting goals can make me feel more purposeful. So that's another method of, if you're feeling purposeless, look into your Enneagram. And if you don't want to have to figure out your Enneagram on your own, then book a reading. Link is in the description below. Also, don't take any tests for the Enneagram because they don't work. We test from a place of ego, and this is our subconscious programming we're talking about. So talk to family about it. I guarantee it'll help you. The next aspect that has really helped me find a sense of purpose is numerology. So in numerology, you take your date of birth and add it up in singular digits. So for me, 0 plus 3 plus 2 plus 8 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 4. 19. And then you take 1 plus 9 and the 19, and then it equals a second number, 10. So I'm a 1910. In numerology, each number has different meaning, 1 through 9 or 0 through 9. And what these numbers imply are unique journey, our unique path. Dan Millman's book, The Life You Were Born to Live, is very much about finding your purpose through overcoming your personal struggles and embodying your own strengths. That is the concept that numerology in this sense really taps on, is whatever your struggles are or what you're here to offer to the world. So for me, I have creativity and confidence. By learning to be more confident in myself and express my creativity, I inspire others to live in their creativity. And that is very much my purpose. I cannot do things linearly. I have to do things from a state of creativity and inspiration. I'm supposed to show people how to be non-linear in many ways. So numerology has really helped me find a sense of purpose in my being. And that is something I really, really want to touch on too, is this. I was going to save it till the end of the video, but when we think about finding a sense of meaning, when we're feeling purposeless and we don't know what we're here to do and we don't even know why we're here in the first place, oftentimes we're trying to find the thing we need to do in order to fulfill that feeling. When the truth is, purpose is not what you do, it is who you are. Let me say that again for you. Listening to this video, if you feel lost, your purpose is never going to be what you do. It will be who you are, which is why we all have a journey around being more authentic, discovering more aspects of ourselves, and embodying that to the entire world, which is why I teach everyone about your Enneagram, your numerology, your Myers-Briggs, and your astrology, because these give you a picture of who you are. So if you're feeling purposeless, look into your Enneagram to discover your default programming self and how you're moving through life in achievement of that childhood wound. Look into your numerology to see your unique struggles and strengths and ask yourself, how can I show these to the world? And then my next thing I'll say is look into your astrology, your astrological birth chart. In your birth chart, you see all the aspects of your being, including what you need for emotional fulfillment, what your ego tends to do, and what is hardest for you to do. Your highest path to growth, your north node, shows you very much your purpose. It shows you how to complete yourself. Everyone, though, often thinks that you're supposed to just achieve your north node. And I will say that while your north node is a lot of your purpose, it is not all. Your purpose is to embrace your entire chart in balance, to master everything in your being. So look at your chart. Start discovering these different parts of yourself and ask yourself, am I showing this to the entire world? Or am I being a product of society's programming? Am I just being, in a way, my Enneagram wound? You know, if you're a 4, ask yourself, am I still seeking just importance? What if there's more to life than this for me? And what if I truly just knew that I was important and could move on to something else? If you're a 9, ask yourself, what if I truly just felt connected and harmonious? What if I knew I was always loved? Then what? So these are things that have all helped me. When I discovered my astrological birth chart and looked at my north node and my numerology too, it was a huge awakening moment for me to realize I am so much more than this simple mundane desire for harmony. It's helped me get past the ego self, which is a hard thing to do, and I know sounds very spiritual, but in the simplest sense, letting your defenses come down. And this takes a level of faith too, you know, whether you're religious or spiritual, whatever you want to call it, just believing that something greater than you loves you, and just going about life knowing that you are enough and you are loved by the right people. You are love as a default. This is something I actually talked about in my most recent video. when I don't remember what I titled it. It was Dating Secrets or something. And there's someone backing in next to me, so I was just watching because they're going really slow. You know, we have to be able to just, what if we move through life giving the belief a rest that we're unlovable? What if we just let it go and believe we're loved? See how your life changes. That too, astrology, numerology, your Enneagram really helps you build your sense of self-worth, which can make it so that you believe you're more loved, and can move past this and into a sense of meaning and purpose. So if you want to understand more on what exactly this all means, again, as like a recap, look into your Enneagram to find out your wound, find your numerology to see your unique talents and purpose, and look into your astrology to understand yourself more deeply and find more sense of purpose. These things have truly helped me live a life. I reference them on a daily basis. I just went to a networking event, and the whole time I was just thinking about the fact that how structured they said, tell 1 minute to talk about yourself, 1 minute to talk about what you do. Because in the end, people are inspired by who we are, not so much even just the things that we offer. And so I really thought about that as I was going through this. I was asking myself, what is my story? What do I want? What feels like truth right now about who I am? Not from a place of victimhood, not feeling the need to be seen. And so I just shared the parts of my story that I felt were true at the time, which, is a complicated, long story. But, you had to cover it all in 60 seconds. And then I was even thinking about, too, how much, these things, astrology, numerology, Enneagram, they're a part of my story in the sense of I'm extremely passionate about these things. This is what I stand for. And I think these things can help people change their life if they feel they don't belong, if they feel like their life is meaningless. They've helped me. And as much as I traveled the world my entire life, which I'm sure you guys all know, if you don't, I've been traveling full time for the last 9 years with my family. But even though I was seeing the world, I felt this sense of, in a way, meaninglessness because I was seeking a sense of belonging in a community for some biased reason. And learning about my numerology, my astrology, my Enneagram helped me discover that, and also helped me discover what my true purpose is, which is to creatively express and inspire others. So if this video helped you understand and give you some insight into what your purpose may be, if it helped you find a sense of meaning, I really hope it did. Let me know in the comments below. And if you really want to dive deep, go more into what your purpose is. If you're still feeling stuck and lost and wondering, what am I here to do? Why am I here? Then book a reading, please, in the link in the description below. We can go so deep in just 1 hour. And I guarantee you by the end, you will feel a newfound sense of purpose and see yourself differently. If you feel like you've been put into a box, both by others and yourself, of what you're capable of and what you're here to do. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sincerely hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars. Once again, my name's Isabelle, and from my heart to yours, namaste.